Greetings. Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board-certified psychiatrist. Okay, never say never. Oops, I just broke my own rule. Oh well, but that's the deal. Never say never, never say always. When you do this, most likely it's not going to be true. When you say to somebody in the heat of an argument, you always do this to me, most likely it's not true. Most likely there's one time, at least one time, when they didn't do that. And so they're going to focus on that. They're just going to see he's not telling the truth. She's not telling the truth. I don't always do that. And instead of focusing on the fact that, yeah, they just did that and it wasn't cool, they're going to focus on you saying that they always do that. And they're going to make that the bone of contention. And they're not going to take responsibility for what they really did. And so you're often running in a completely inappropriate and incorrect direction. You can't give people the opportunity to discredit you and shoot the messenger or whatever. Stick to the facts. The facts are, a lot of times, most of the time, usually you are doing this to me. That's cool. That you can make that case, and they can't refute that. Same thing with never. If you say you're never there for me, you've never really helped me, you've never understood me, it's most likely not true. And if there's at least one time where it's not true, that people will focus on that and not look at the real issue that you're trying to point out to them, which is to take responsibility for what they don't do or do. You get the point. The point is, don't do that. Stick to the facts. Stick to what your hurt is right then and there, and ask them to take responsibility for it. Ask them to discuss it, to resolve it, to communicate their perspective. Now, another thing along the lines of always and never, just to help in terms of when you're in the midst of an argument, is if you're fighting, if you're yelling, if you're calling names, both of you are most likely in a polarized position where no one's really listening to each other. It's not about being happy. It's not about trying to find a meeting of the minds. It's about, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're worthless. I'm right, you need to agree with me. If you're arguing, you're fighting, you're not listening, you're not trying to compromise and mediate and see the other person's point of view, you're just trying to push your own point of view, you should disengage. It's not working. It's not effective communication. You should disengage and say, hey, we need to cool down. We need to think about this. Let's come back later and talk about this again when we've had a chance to think about it. Because what we're doing now is just not only not helping, it's actually destructive. So you want to disengage. And the other thing is also to keep in mind when you're fighting with somebody and you're really angry at them because of what they did to you. Maybe they yelled at you. Maybe they embarrassed you in front of other people. Maybe they shamed you or humiliated you. Most likely it's not because they hate you or want to attack you or want to hurt you. It's because they've been hurt. They perceive themselves as having been hurt. They perceive themselves as having been minimized. They perceive themselves as having been unloved or unappreciated. And rather than say that to you, rather than say, I feel unloved, I'm insecure, I feel unappreciated, I need a hug, I need some affirmation of your love and cherishing of me, they attack you. They yell at you. They scream at you. They blame you. And so if you can step above the battlefield for just a moment and say, okay, I don't need to get defensive. I don't need to get angry. I don't need to push back. If I can see that she or he is hurting, they're in pain, they're insecure, and they need me to really reassure them that it's okay, that I care. If you do that, if you then reassure them and say, it's okay, I care, problem solved. Okay, we tend to just continue to build and build on the anger, the hate, the attack, and no one breaks the cycle. Break the cycle. Choose to see love. Choose to see peace instead of war. Choose to rise above the battlefield. Choose to find another way to look at the situation where you can respond in a loving way rather than in an attacking way. All right, that's it for today. Take care. Peace be with you. Check out my book, Forgive to Win. End self-sabotage. Create the life you want. All right. See you next time.